Hi everyone, it's Anthony back with another video, and today we're doing a combo review as well as kind of a general routine specific to reduction of redness, inflammation, and irritation. So this is going to be a breakdown of some of my favorite products that I go back to and use pretty frequently and always lean on when my skin is feeling a little bit red or irritated or inflamed, and we'll talk about why I'm picking that routine today. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Recently I started experimenting with a new sunscreen, and so I've been using it for about 4 or 5 days now, but I burn through sunscreens really quickly because of reapplication. I try to reapply my sunscreen every 2 hours, and so a sunscreen will usually last on my shelf for about 10 to 12 days before I've pretty much used the entire tube, especially if I've been going outside and going hiking or what have you. And so now that the weather's cooled down and it gets dark pretty quickly, I don't use my sunscreens as frequently because it gets dark around 3, 4, 5 p.m. But I still use them anywhere from 2 to 3 times a day, just depending on how early I got up and how early I was out the door. So this sunscreen that I've been using is the KissMe Mommy waterproof sunscreen, SPF 50+. PA4 pluses. So been using it for about 4 or 5 days now. I'm kind of about down to here. So maybe about halfway done. And it's not great. So I think it was recommended, or I heard about it from Dr. Dre. It was mentioned in one of her favorite sunscreens videos. And even though it is alcohol free, there wasn't a ton of crazy stuff in there. In fact, I believe there's some jojoba oil or jojoba esters in it, collagen, I believe there's sodium hyaluronate. It's an all chemical sunscreen. I am just really reacting poorly to it. I've been getting pretty irritated on my cheeks throughout the day before I do that next application of it. My skin starts to feel really dry and tight, especially around my jawline and neck where I shave. It just seems to be irritating that skin, which tends to be a little bit more sensitive, while at the same time leaving a pretty intense, I always am glowy and shiny because that's just kind of the look, but this is particularly leaning more towards the greasy side. It leaves kind of a grease on the fingertips or an oil residue when wiped off. And then I did kind of a swatch on my arm just to make sure that this is the product in my routine that's creating that issue. And yes, my arm felt kind of shiny, a little bit greasy. So it's interesting that it leaves that kind of greasy shine or that oily kind of residue, even though there doesn't seem to be a ton of oil in the formulation, but it's still drying my skin out. So whatever that is just seems to be on the surface of the skin and not really providing any sort of nourishment or hydration because it's still zapping my skin of a lot of moisture, especially around my mouth area where I apply sunscreen. And then what kind of set me off today and made me decide no more is I applied it this morning. Everything else in my routine felt fine. I was doing good. And then I applied a good layer of sunscreen on, and it started to burn around my forehead, on my eyebrows, on my eyelids. It really started to sting where I apply sunscreen there. And then once again on the cheeks and jawline. And I do have some texture issues on my cheeks regardless, but they became kind of puffy and a little bit inflamed. And that lasted for about an hour or so before it started to subside. But I decided, you know what? Enough's enough. I'm not going to reapply this sunscreen even though I'm due for a sunscreen reapplication. Not going to do it because for the sake of the review or trial, I just don't want to put my skin through this anymore. So I'm calling it, for whatever reason, this particular formulation just is not working at all for my skin. I have oily combination skin, acne prone, obviously deeper skin tone. I'm 35, so I don't know what about it in this formula is creating that reaction for me, but I don't find it to be hydrating or nourishing or anything like that. In fact, it leaves that layer while still zapping my skin from a lot of hydration. So I'm kind of done with it. I'm ready to kind of give my skin a break, which is what led me to do that review. And then let's talk about the routine that I use in moments like this, where products do start to irritate my skin, cause some inflammation or causing some dryness, and what I do to kind of bring my skin back to a baseline, calm it down, get it moving towards a more happy and healthy direction again, and try to recoup or kind of work that back as quickly as possible to get my skin back to a happy, healthy state. So this isn't necessarily an AM or a PM routine. It's just what I'm gonna do in this moment to remove that sunscreen and then create kind of that base layer and get things happy again. So it's a fairly minimal routine for me. You all know that I use a lot of different products and go through a lot of different steps in my routine, especially when I'm doing one of my extended PM routines that has masks, lots of masks and whatnot. This is gonna be a little bit more simplified. We're looking at just 6 products here, one of which is just a sheet mask, so kind of 5 core products. Because my skin's also feeling a little bit hot from that. It's just generally just upset. So I kind of want to calm it down, cool it, soothe it, and then kind of create that baseline. So the first thing I want to do in this routine is remove that sunscreen. So get that sunscreen off, get a nice cleanse so I can start building that hydration and soothing back into my skin. So I'm gonna be starting with a oil cleanser. And so this isn't necessarily AM or PM, this is just what I'm doing in this moment to work back what's been going on with this sunscreen. So one of my all-time favorite cleansing balms is from Solve Skincare. It's their coconut oil cleansing balm. This has very minimal ingredients list. The coconut oil that they use or how they formulate it keeps it so it's not going to be, you know, comedogenic or anything crazy like that. Of course, if you are very sensitive to coconut oil, you want to proceed with caution here. I don't necessarily have that issue, and in fact, I've found this product to do a really nice job of cleansing and rinsing nicely while not stripping the skin. So this Self Skincare Coconut Oil Cleansing Balm is kind of the perfect blend of a thorough cleanse, even for oily combination skin types, while not being stripping. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this over in the bathroom. That'll be my first step. And then second step, we're gonna be using a nice gentle cleanser. And I've been using the Mad About Skin Gentle Jelly Cleanser. Is that gonna focus? Boop, boop, boop. For almost a month now. I think maybe I'm 3 weeks into it. And I'm very happy with this cleanser for its gentle cleansing. It doesn't foam, it doesn't really work into a lather. It's almost like applying kind of a jelly moisturizer or kind of a jelly serum, like a thick jelly serum. But once you incorporate some water, it does have some emulsifiers in there that are non-foaming, so it still breaks down any excess residue from oil cleansing or anything that was left behind after that oil cleanse to get a nice clean canvas for skin. But once again, it leaves just a little bit of natural oil and natural hydration behind, so it's not drying whatsoever. This product by itself, I don't think I would go for it as a standalone cleanser to remove my sunscreen. This is good as part of a double cleanse or in the AM when you're not working off sunscreen. Just any oil buildup and stuff overnight, that's where I find it to be really impactful. Those with drier skin, they might actually get a lot of benefit out of this one in a PM or AM cleanse just by itself, or if you're someone that wears really minimal makeup or minimal sunscreen, which you should be wearing your sunscreen, but depending on your lifestyle and your skin type, you could get by using this twice a day, just this, no double cleanse. I, however, need an oil cleanser in the PM because I wear a lot of sunscreen. So I do want to call out a couple featured ingredients in here. You have squalane pretty high on the ingredients list, which gives it that kind of slip and makes it feel a little bit more moisturizer-like in format. You also have green tea leaf extract in here. You've got glutamic acid, which is awesome, allantoin, and then you have a couple other botanical extracts in here as well, all geared towards hydrating, soothing, and calming the skin, which is why I picked this cleanser for this routine, because it has just been so gentle and kind to my skin since I started using it a few weeks ago. So I'm gonna go in the bathroom and do my double cleanse. I'll do this, and then I'll do this. Let me do this. Let's get this sunscreen off of my face, and I will be right back. Bye. Hi everyone, I'm back. Just finished doing my double cleanse using the Solve Skincare Coconut Oil Cleansing Balm and the Mad About Skin Gentle Jelly Cleanser. So it feels so good to get that sunscreen off. Like it's not great, at least for my skin type and skin concerns. It just was so greasy. It felt so nice just to get that off my skin, and I wanted to push through. The first couple times I used it, or first couple days I used it, I was like, oh, it's leaving that kind of dewy, glowy finish that I like. It's okay. And then as I would reapply throughout the day, I'm like, oh, it's looking a little bit more greasy. It felt like it would kind of set or become more of a mild shine as it wore. So I was like, oh, maybe it just needs some more time to set up, or, you know, maybe it just needs more time to absorb. But by today, which I think was day 4 or day 5, it was just like, there was just no way. It was very clear that it was sitting on my skin, creating a weird residuey, greasy layer. It felt uncomfortable and I was breaking out. And that irritation and that sting, today was the first time that happened, and I was able to pinpoint that sunscreen because I pretty much use the exact same products in my evening routine as I do in my AM routine, aside from sunscreen. So everything else the night before, no issues. That whole morning, throughout my whole this morning, throughout my whole morning routine, no issues until I got to that sunscreen. And I typically don't apply skincare to my eyelids except for sunscreen, and they started burning. And so there's just something up with that sunscreen. I'm not a fan of it, so I'll be tossing that, not giving it away. But anyway, double cleanse done. I want to get some hydration on because I am feeling a little dry. So you've seen it a bajillion times. The Etude House Sinjung pH 5.5 Relief Toner. I love this. This is my go-to toner now for when my skin is feeling red or irritated or particularly dry. Just a splash in the hands and pat in. My skin just drinks this stuff up. It's pH balanced, so if you were using a higher pH cleanser, this would help to kind of balance that out, although I'm a big proponent of pH balanced cleansers or skin-friendly cleansers, pH of 6.5 to 5.5. So I just do a splash, pat, splash into the hands, pat, and just let my skin drink it up. And I will keep doing this until I get that kind of like really dewy, bouncy kind of feel. That way I know that my skin has kind of gotten the drink it needs. I'd usually go in with an essence, but I'm trying to keep it simple because I just don't want to overload my skin right now with any more ingredients than I need to, or that I want to, I guess I should say. You could skip a couple of these steps that I'm about to get into and keep it really simple. Cleanse and hydration, so either toner and moisturizer or just moisturizer, or you could do a reparative serum and a moisturizer. I'm throwing in a sheet mask just because I need some cooling. My skin just feels hot. So normally I would do 2 splashes, pat. This is number 4. My skin, like I said, is just, it literally felt last night. I do some gig work on the side, so after my normal job, I'll go do like DoorDash or something like that, just for, you know, some extra skincare funds. And I was driving and like I'd turn and I could feel like, it almost felt like the skin on my jawline and neck was just kind of like stretched, just because at that point I had probably applied that KissMe Mommy sunscreen, I think 4 times throughout the course of the day. And so I've got greasy skin that's just tight and dry, like I had finished using a really harsh cleanser or an astringent routine. So I need some hydration. So we'll do 4 layers of that. That definitely, I have free motion of my face. It's great. And we're gonna go in with a sheet mask. So I've used these sheet masks before. I just don't think I've done a review on them. I'm not sure why I haven't done one yet, but I do like them. It's from Dewy Tree. It's their Cica 100 mask. I picked these up from Soko Glam, and it's a single ingredient sheet mask, which is nice. So there's less of a potential risk for irritation here. You don't have any fragrance or colorants or alcohols or anything like that. It's 100% Satella asiatica extract. I don't know what they're using as their solvent to create that extract, but I don't think it's alcohol because I don't find this to be drying. It doesn't smell like alcohol. So they're using some kind of non-drying solvent to get that extraction to happen. And the mask material is really nice as well. It's not super fancy, but it's not, you know, like a Skin Food or Tony Moly sheet mask. It's a kind of middle of the road sheet mask material. And so you can see, ooh, it's got so much drippy essence coming off of it. So I'm gonna have to save that and try to apply it. But it's got kind of a deeper hue, almost like a beige hue. And it's very, very soothing, calming. From the past couple times that I've used it. So I'm gonna slap this on and go hang out for a couple of minutes and just let my skin recuperate a little bit, let it drink in that Centella asiatica, which is great for soothing, calming, reducing redness and irritation. I really like Cica and mugwort are kind of my two go-to botanical extracts for when my skin is just irritated and unhappy. Like I said, it's to the point now where I did get some stinging this morning, so I don't want to go too crazy. Sometimes even things when your skin is that irritated, things like water, glycerin, butylene glycol can cause some stinging just because your skin's absorbing stuff and it's just in an irritated state. So you want to be really careful. If for whatever reason I start to feel that with this sitting on my face, I'll go ahead and pull it off and just move on with the rest of my routine. But I'm hoping that since this is just a single ingredient product and that ingredient is focused on soothing and calming, that will be okay. I'm gonna be looking at the viewfinder to get this on. Oh, I did an okay job without really seeing what I was doing. Okay, cool. So gonna let that sit. I also noticed that I was getting some breakouts on my neck, and that's also a telltale sign that it's the sunscreen that's causing that, because I usually don't go all the way like down to here with my skincare. I'll go like pretty much to like here. So I started to get a couple little blemishes on the sides of my neck and towards the lower part. So that usually tells me like whatever lotion, body lotion, sunscreen you're using, it's causing some problems. I also was getting started to get a little blemish and breakout right here on my eyebrow. That's another area that is usually really resilient for some reason. I never break out around my eyelids unless, or around my eyebrows, unless it's a contact irritant or a breakout that's related to a new product that I've worked into my routine. So the areas on my face and on my neck that are typically kind of bulletproof started to break out, and that's when you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this sit. Dewy Tree says to go ahead and pop this on. I think, yeah, 10 to 20 minutes. It feels fine so far, so I'm just gonna ride it out. Hopefully my skin isn't too sensitized for this product. There's a whole bunch of that watery essence in here. I think that is probably some of the most essence I've seen come out of a sheet mask pack. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave this on for about 20 minutes, just kind of relax, let my skin recoup, and then we'll come back and we'll finish with the last two steps. We've got a serum and a moisturizer, and then we'll be done. Hopefully my skin will be on the path back to calmness and not feeling like it's going to split in half and then be coated in grease. So that sunscreen is just no. Hi everyone, so just finished up with that sheet mask. I left it on a little bit longer than I wanted to, but I caught it just before it started to kind of dry. It was a little bit dry on the edges, but it definitely gave my skin a very nice cooling effect. It was just so soothing to have that on, just like kind of a cool towel on the skin. And I did notice a little bit of reduction in the redness that I was experiencing, specifically on my cheeks, and even where I put some of the essence on my neck, things seem to have soothed a little bit. Sheet masks aren't gonna be instant boom, like everything's better, although there's a couple that are pretty close to that. So I wasn't expecting anything dramatic as far as completely resetting the skin. I'm still feeling a little bit of irritation right around my mouth here where I think it just dried too much. So when I was after, talking and moving your mouth when your skin's that dry, I feel like it almost even started to crack, and it was very dry. It has been very dry here in Colorado just in general. So between that sunscreen zapping the moisture from my skin and being outside a lot more, in the evenings doing, like I said, doing some driving, that type of thing, I think my skin just wasn't, that sunscreen just set me up for failure essentially, because it just wasn't imparting any hydration. It was zapping hydration and then leaving that greasy sheen, which I think helped to whatever that residue might have helped to promote breakouts. I'm not sure what happened there. I didn't do a deep dive into all of the chemical components that are in that sunscreen, but there's something there that my skin really dislikes. So I'm happy to feel kind of soothed. It's like the first time in a few days that my forehead has just felt kind of cool. So I'm gonna keep this hydration and calming and reparative train going with one of my favorite products, and this is I gave away my other bottle, so it's a brand new bottle, but I've mentioned it a few times in a couple different videos, I think, and this is the Rouleau Everyday Skin Fluence Everyday Serum. This product is one that I actually helped to help the brand to put together some of their branding strategy, gave them some insight into, you know, what products customers and consumers are looking for these days, and I've been working with them on and off for a little over a year now. So the product just got its final packaging and was kind of officially launched. I want to say a couple of months ago was kind of the soft launch, and I think they're still in that soft launch mode. So this isn't sponsored by them, but I will say that as a thank you for, you know, helping them along in this process, which has been so awesome, they do send me the Rouleau Everyday Serum, I believe on a monthly basis, or I guess I'll just say from time to time, they send me a bottle of product. So it's been awesome as kind of an exchange for that, you know, consultation or whatever, you know, whatever you want to call it that I've been helping them out with, that I do get to, you know, I tried the beta product. I think there was a second version, and then this is the final version for the Everyday Serum. So essentially, you know, if you haven't heard it on other videos, they use a patented blend of ingredients to help your skin to generate its own ceramides from within. So rather than putting ceramides topically on the skin and expecting your skin to be like, ooh, yum, I'm gonna, you know, use those to create a healthier skin barrier, they kind of go a step further and help to create skin health as opposed to skin care, if that makes sense. So giving your skin what it needs to be healthy from within and produce those ceramides and just increase skin thickness, general resiliency. So it really helps when your skin is been impacted by over-exfoliation or irritation from whatever, environmental stressors, that type of thing. So anytime my skin goes into freak out mode, which it does happen from time to time, especially since I try so many different skincare products, I will reach for this, work this back into my routine, even from the beta version till now. So a little over a year, work this into my routine just to calm that redness and irritation down and get my skin kind of jump started to kind of reinforce itself again after something like this has happened. So all that being said, this is a nice jelly style serum that offers quite a bit of hydration as well. I just do about 2 pumps into my hand. You can see it's kind of like a clear jelly. It's got a little bit of fluidity to it. Nice pump style. Work that into hands and just pat it on. And it doesn't have any sort of fragrance or scent or anything like that. When I was talking with the team members over at Rouleau, I was mentioning the Sinjung line to them, and I was saying, you know, the Sinjung doesn't have a serum, but I could totally see the Skinfluence Everyday Serum working into that routine. And in fact, I'll probably mention it when I talk about, you know, what I think might be missing from the Sinjung line. So stay tuned for further reviews on the Sinjung line from Etude House. But it's just a nice supporting base level, like, this is just gonna keep things happy and healthy, and it's so nice to have something like this when I am a person that tries a lot of skincare products, because it's not gonna be a guarantee that I'm gonna love every single thing and my skin's gonna love every single thing. I make my purchases based on what I think my skin will like, based on ingredients lists and what I tend to avoid and my skin type, but there's always things like that KissMe Mommy sunscreen. There's really nothing on paper that I was like, ooh, look at bergamot oil is second or third on the ingredients list. That's gonna freak me out. Or, oh my gosh, there's a whole bunch of alcohol, so I might just need to pay attention for potential dryness. I didn't see anything that jumped out to me. But here we are with my skin, you know, feeling like it was burning and stinging this morning after applying that product, and I just need to get it back to a happy baseline. So the Rouleau Skinfluence Everyday Serum has just been so nice from that, and it was kind of like perfect timing that, you know, they reached out to me, because I think it's just a product that I really needed in my routine, and it's something that I can like nudge and be like, hey Serum, Everyday Serum, get over here, I need some help. Especially like on my cheeks and eye area where the skin's really thin and delicate there, but you still need to protect that with sunscreen. So when a sunscreen goes wrong and starts to create a bad reaction, it can be amplified in those delicate areas, like around the mouth, like on the eyes where I am experiencing that stinging. So it's very nice to have a serum like this that will come in, support that skin barrier, provide a lot of nice hydration as well, but work to get your skin back to a healthy state. So I'll always have this with me as long as they send them my way, and even if they stop sending them my way, I will keep picking them up. And it's not something that I use, even though this can be used every day, hence the name Everyday Serum. I have other products in my routine that I try and I test. So I have other serums sitting right over here, one from Aqua. So it's not something that is a forever product, 365, twice a day, never change, but it's always sitting somewhere nearby when things go wrong. So I'm gonna probably work this into my routine until my skin starts to recoup. So probably the next couple weeks, maybe, you know, a full month of using this serum either in my AM or PM routine, just to provide that support and give my skin that boost that it needs to get back to a happy place. So that's that. Last product that we're using today. I don't think I'm gonna go back out today. The sun's already starting to go down. I don't think I'm gonna go back out today, so I think I'm gonna just let my skin recoup. I'm not gonna experiment with another sunscreen, so we're just gonna do a moisturizer. And the moisturizer that I'm currently using, or that I use in this routine, is the Sinjung Hydro Barrier Cream. I just finished using this a few weeks ago, I think, as part of that Glowy Co review that I've mentioned a couple times. So this is a nice lightweight jelly style cream. It's kind of like a gel cream. You can see it's a little bit translucent. So this is really nice. Panthenol, madecassoside, green tea leaf extract are kind of the core. So soothing, hydrating, and skin barrier support. And that's the story for all of Sinjung. Anytime my skin's irritated, you're gonna see that brand. So yeah, anytime my skin is in that irritated state or just feels overworked, had a bad reaction to something, you're gonna see Sinjung pop into my routine somehow, some way, and that Rouleau Everyday Serum, just because, like I said, creating that baseline, not rocking the boat too much. There's nothing in here that was like, ooh, we've got a little bit of BHA or some vitamin C, or hey, there's some tranexamic acid or something like that to do any sort of resurfacing, or not even necessarily brightening or anything like that. This is all about, like, let's just get back to a happy place before we start, you know, trying to adjust things again. So this isn't necessarily about changing anything, it's just about improving what we have going on today and just bringing things back to a healthy standpoint. So this just feels so nice. It's got just enough slip to it without feeling greasy. It's super lightweight, but my skin is just like, it just needs like I need a nice facial massage it just is like, give us some love. So it feels so much better to have that sunscreen off and just kind of hit that reset button. And I think even just in that routine, my skin just looks less like greasy, and like it just looks a little bit more natural, dewy finish, less inflamed, a little bit more even toned. And it's all thanks to, you know, those nice gentle cleansers, nice lightweight layerable hydration from that relief toner. That Skin Fluent serum is going to immediately go in and trigger the skin to say, let's start building some healthy ceramides and get that skin barrier back up and functioning and strong again. And then that hydro cream just to lock some of that hydration in without feeling like too much. It's just enough to keep the skin feeling comfortable and hydrated without moving into like a heavy or thick feeling. So that's that. That is my help my skin is in crisis routine. You know, if you're doing this in the AM, then you would just skip out on the cleansing balm, and then you would tag on a sunscreen. And the sunscreens that I would pick, let me see if I have them. These are kind of my two go-tos anyway. So the first one, I've been using this one for years now, and it is the Supergoop Unseen Sunscreen. This is a silicone-based chemical sunscreen, so if you do not agree with, or your skin doesn't agree with silicones, then you're not gonna like the slip and slide and feel of this one. But outside of that, you don't have any additional fragrance. I believe there are some calming botanicals in here, and it's all chemical sunscreen, which works for my skin. But this one never does me wrong. When I first used it, I didn't like that silicone kind of slip and slide, and I actually attributed that to breakouts, but I don't have any issues with silicones in skincare. It doesn't cause any clogged pores or anything like that from me. It's just marketing and the clean beauty industry had scared me into thinking it, but that's not the case. This one is just like my go-to. If I'm in a bind, I'll grab this. I have, I think, 3 of them down here because when I use this, usually in the summer, I'm using a lot of it. So there's the Unseen sunscreen, and then the other one's kind of a new favorite that I used this year, and that's the Round Lab Birch Juice Moisturizing Sun Cream, I believe it's called, SPF 50+, PA4+. This one's SPF 40, PA 3+. Nice, light, hydrating, great reformulation from the previous one. My skin loves this product, and it's just gives you that nice dewy bouncy finish as opposed to like an oily or a shiny finish. I guess this is a little bit more natural, and I don't think there's any added fragrance in here either. I think this is fragrance and essential oil free. So these would be my options if I was going to apply a sunscreen today, but I'm not walking out that door. I'm gonna sit back, finish sending out some emails, responding to some things, doing some work, and then I'm just gonna go like this with my skin and just, you know, it just needs some love and some pampering today. So make sure to leave a comment below for your favorite products or brands that you reach for when your skin is feeling red and irritated, dried, sensitized, or just generally overworked, because we can all learn from each other. I'm sure there's a ton of great products out there that I haven't tried that will be perfect for resetting my skin in those moments. And you might even see some of them behind me and you might be thinking, Anthony, it's that one right there. So let me know what products you love when your skin is in this type of situation. But I'm gonna go take a seat at the desk, make a nice cup of tea, and just kind of baby my skin for the rest of the evening because it needs it. It needs some love and attention, and it wants me to throw that KissMe Mommy sunscreen as far off into space as I possibly can. It's been a long time since my skin has had this type of reaction, so it was kind of surprising. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay glowing, my friends. Bye!